Okay, I've decided to break up this into, it's going to take me 2 more videos to finish what we will call Lecture 1. First thing I want to do is go over some basic techniques for drawing. And so first thing I want to show you how to do is how to get a perpendicular bisector. So let's suppose we go up here. We're going to put a bunch of drawings on this paper. So here I have a line. It has very definite ends. And suppose you come and tell me, well, I want to do a perpendicular bisector for this. All right. Well, here's what you do. You take a compass. So I have one here. And you set it so it's a little over half the length of the line. And so you can't you can see it's a slight line there. It doesn't show up so good, but. And boom. So I did 2 lines. So I have. Now I'm going to go over to the other side and I'll do the same thing. At the top here. And here's the other intersection. So I just took a compass and went just over half the length. So there'd be an intersection. Now I connect those points. And I have a perpendicular bisector of that line. Everything's 90 degrees. Now, here's another thing that sometimes you need to do. We'll go down just a little bit here. So suppose you have, so here's one line. And let's just draw an arbitrary line here at some angle that's not 30 or 60 or 45 degrees. So here I got these 2 lines. They intersect here. And what I want to do is come up with a bisector of this angle. How do you do that? Well, because oftentimes you have an angle and there's something halfway in between that's machined that way. Well, what you need to do is, notice we knew we wanted to bisect this line, so we got to get some known points. So let me just take my compass again, and I'm just going to cut the radius that it has down. All right, I need to get 2 equidistant segments on here. So I'm going to go down here to put the base in here. And I drew an arc. Okay, well, this segment, if I call this 0, A, I'll let this be B, OA and OB are the same length. Okay, so now here's what I do. I'll set my compass up so it's basically the whole length of the arc here. And I'm going to go off of B, and I'll draw a little arc there. Wish this showed up better, but it is what it is. Then I'll go to A, and I'll draw an arc here, like so. And they intersect right there. And bam. Go back to my point O. Make sure my point's on that. Boom. And I have a bisector of an angle. That's how you do it. All right. Now another thing that can sometimes be helpful is, suppose somebody comes in for reasons I don't know and don't care, but so let's say you have a line. Boom, there's a line. And they say, okay, I want you to draw a circle that goes through this point that I just drew. All right, and that's going to be a little too big for my paper here, so forget that one. Let me go here. So there's a point. Here's a line. I want to come up with a circle that goes through this point and is tangent to that line. There's actually an infinite number of them that would work. But so let's just pick one spot in the line. I'll pick that one. So what does that mean? So I'm going to have a circle that goes through this point, and it's going to be tangent to the line here. Well, if it's tangent here, it says the center of the circle is going to go up along this line, like so. Okay, so I know the center of the circle is going to be somewhere along here. All right, so this point is on the circle, that point's on the circle. Well, if I were to connect them, this is a chord within the circle. And here's the reality. So this is just some geometry hopefully you've had before. If you have a chord, if the perpendicular bisector of any chord in a circle will go through the center of the circle. Oh, okay, well, let's do that. So this is over half the way, so I'll, there. So I'm going to get the perpendicular bisector. So it turns out to be about here and there. So if I bisect this chord, oops, I have that. So the perpendicular bisector of a chord goes through the center of radius, the center of the circle. And this thing goes through the center. Oh, that's the circle right there. So there's the center. So I have my compass. I set my compass up to there. And so I set it up now to be tangent to here, and I'll draw that out. And there's our circle. All right, a little hard to see, but just adjust your resolution, you'll be able to see that. And so we found a circle that went through 2 points. So that's just using a little bit of geometry, which is often part of making something, drawing something. You got to be able to use your geometry. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 24-point starburst. What's the significance of that? 24-point starburst is that everything's at 15 degrees to each other. And having said that, it'll start to make sense soon. So I'm just going to put in a line here. And I'll actually use my scale here. So let's see. There, that's about the center right there. Boom. So there's the center of that thing. And so I want to make a 24-point starburst. Okay. So using my frame of reference here, I'll just bring this up. So I'm using my T-square. And boom. So there's something at 90 degrees to my original line. And let's put something in at 45. All right. And we'll put something in at minus 45. Like so. So that's just using one triangle. Well, now let's we're going to fill in everything at 15 degrees. Okay, so if we go to 60, start in the center there. There's that one. I'll turn this over and get effectively, say, the 60 on the other side. All right. Now let's do the 30s. And we'll flip this over the other way. And if we look at this thing, all right, kind of looks like a mutant spider, okay? So just put a little spider head on the end and dangle it and drive my wife crazy or something. But if you look at it, we have a little holes here. So let's see, this was 30, 45, 60. We need something at 75 to take that out. But if we can get 75, if we turn it over, we can get this one. All right. And then we need 15 degrees here to do that, and then we could flip it over and do that. How are we going to get that? All right. So I need to do this one here. That's 75 degrees. All right. Well, so here's my horizontal that I'm maintaining. It's 45 degrees to there. Here's 30 on a 30, 60, 90. So I can just slide this along, and I can also adjust with this thing. And there's the 75. Now, I can turn this over. I'm actually pushing this here to make sure my T-square is maintaining my horizontal reference. Oops. I banged into the cameras and that messed me up a little. Oh well. Okay, so now I need 15 degrees. How am I going to get that? Well, let's just kind of go back to here. And this is a little too big, so let me change. So now let's see. Hard to get my hands on these things sometimes. All right. So 45. Let's see. This is 70, but let's take a look at. Oops. There's the one I want. And there it is. And I can just line this up like so. Oops, came off the edge, sorry. And of course, if we just turn it the other way, getting hold of my system here. So what I did here is I just put my 30, 60, 90 on the bottom here. And so I've got 60 here, plus 45, and that would give me what I need here. There's 15. I can move that over. Now I need more length there, so what I can do is I can just maintain this. Look at this. I'll slide this over and adjust this. Hold. Oops. I shifted there. Boom. And we have our 24-point starburst. So using your 30, 60, 90 and your 45, 45, 90, you can move all over the board and make things happen. And note how you can maintain lines here. So once I establish my base, I can move my 45s over, and notice that I could set a line up like this and slide relative to the triangles here. So once you have your horizontal maintained, you can use your triangles as it were to slide around and maintain your reference. Okay, so I'm going to do one more drawing, and that'll finish up week 1. It's called the Maltese cross. I'll see you in a moment.